The same Nerf-based AI technology that can make photos and turn them into 3D models can now give you real-time sports from any angle you want. Kawasaki introduced a robotic item that nobody asked for and many people will buy. Horse to horseless carriage to car to horse. If you've been wondering what Lord of the Rings would be like if Studio Ghibli directed it, AI has got you covered. When I found out about Amazon's plan to use AI to go search other people's website, buy their products, ship them to you, and like manage the whole thing and probably take a cut, it like blew my mind at how powerful that might be for them. Thanks to artificial intelligence and bioprinting, we now have a new way to replace gums. Like, I'm literally talking about above your teeth, the gums in your mouth. We might be able to customize those for every single person very soon, thanks to AI. There's been a whole slew of AI written papers about why climate change isn't real. It's kind of messing up the whole scientific process right now. Zuckerberg made a not so cringy post today about how Llama 4 is the new open source GOAT of models. For some reason, people in Japan treat AI robots and agents more respectfully than those of us in the West. You remember those days in the past when marketers actually had to show ads to people to see if they liked them or not? Yeah, AI basically just laughed at that concept and said, I got this, we'll explore. Thomas A. Vick argues that you and I never really existed in the first place. It's sobering insight into existence, what can I say? But first, we should talk about Quill meetings. They are the sponsor of this video. I'm gonna download it from Matt. So because it's running locally, one of the coolest things is that it doesn't matter if it's like a Google Meet, if it's a Zoom, if it's a FaceTime. Before I start the meeting, I'm gonna start my Quillbot recording. So I click here, I press yes, and now here we go. Alyssa, what's going on?
How's it going, Dylan?
Really well. So I had a quick question I needed to ask you. If there was one song that you could dance to forever, what would it be?
I have one in my head that I keep doing the choreography to, which is it's called Holy Water by Laurel. It's just it's got a lot of emotion behind it.
So now let's say the meeting's over and I'm trying to remember what it is that Alyssa likes. Boom, I come in here to Quill meeting. So I'll click stop, finish recording. And this is where the AI magic happens after a quick processing screen. And here you can see our conversation. Our entire transcript was recorded. And then here's where the minutes of the meeting have been summarized. Is that correct? Holy Water by Laurel. And it's because the emotional depth and energizing quality were key factors?
Yes.
But if I wanted to turn it into an article or post, I can do that. Alyssa's choices reflect an understanding that survival involves nurturing the mind and spirit as well as the body. So if you want to support the sponsor of today's videos, which I totally encourage you to do, the link is in the description of this YouTube video. So go ahead and click it, give it a try. You can download it for free, start playing with it today. And thanks to Quill Meeting for sponsoring this video. Thank you for having that quick meeting with me and helping demo Quill meetings.
No problem, Dylan.
Okay, so first let's check out this AI generated video that came from actual angles of an actual baseball game. So you can think of it as like interpolating, it's Nerf technology, it's AI technology, and it fills in every possible angle in between the real camera footage. And it's really honestly getting close to where I think this kind of technology is going to allow us to watch sports, especially in real time, like live events in real time from any angle. And then from this step, they're going to start training artificial intelligence systems to find the most engaging angle. Probably for you and me specifically, we'll probably all get like custom angles of every like football, baseball, soccer game that we want to watch live. And yeah, there's just something about this that's worth taking note of because yeah, AI could populate the stands. It could like bring you closer to the character and add statistics. It can probably like Matrix style slow down a moment and then speed it up a minute later to just like catch up to the live footage, but give you a more intense experience when it matters. I mean, look at this angle, like sliding into home plate and getting some kind of like natural shake, even though none of that exists. Watching replays from any angle. I'm also guessing like in the NFL when it's like almost in the end zone and we kind of like lose the ball because there's like too many people piled around it, that AI will start to let us see where it is. I mean, a lot of the frames that it's finding here are estimated and they're good enough to seem real to us. I don't see why it couldn't kind of go into a pile and find out where the ball actually is. Like, it's going to be very different. All right, let's talk about the CORLEO. This is a product announcement from Kawasaki. I think some of the video footage we're looking at here isn't completely real, although I'm not positive about that. But the product itself really was actually like introduced at a conference. Surprisingly, it's not like Big Dog. It's not all electric. It is hydrogen powered, but it is a 4-legged robot vehicle designed for human riders. It is a horse. It's a robotic horse. That's crazy. I think a lot of people want it and will buy it, actually, but I don't think anyone needed it. But is this going to be like our neighborhoods? Are you going to see people just like cruising down the street? Is it like a motorcycle? Watch this demo video with me. This guy's galloping through the woods. You know, it's not a dirt bike. It's not a bicycle. It's not a 4-wheeler. It moves like a horse. It's got joints. In this example, it can jump and run very much like somebody riding a horse. I don't know what to think about it. It looks fun. I think a lot of people who have extra money are going to buy one and like use it. It can handle a lot of terrain that maybe a bike or a motorcycle might get stuck on, especially when AI in the future can allow it to move like an animal. I mean, the world was built in a way where biological life evolved to navigate this kind of terrain. So maybe we do mimic that and we ride them like in ways. I mean, it's not a Segway. It's not a motorcycle. Like when you go around your neighborhood, it's like not a go-kart for those like community type things where people just want to jump in. It's not really smooth. Like dressage and horseback riding is now in jeopardy of AI. I don't know. Oh no, graphic designers, software engineers, no job is safe. Some say it's fake. It is. I definitely think we're looking at some CGI in these example videos, but this is real, right? Yeah. Off-road robot CORLEO introduced in Japan. Hydrogen-fueled engine, 4 independent robotic legs. Please note the rubber hooves. Oh, look, Terrence, picky as another concept. The centipede horse. Multiple people riding at the same time could be very relaxing. Oh, given Ark vibes. Is that from Ark? That's probably from Ark, isn't it?
Awoken. Sauron needs only this ring to cover all the lands of darkness. What must I do?
The ring must be destroyed.
Cast back into the fires of Mount Doom. I know what hunts you. They're coming.
They will find the ring and kill the one who carries it.
You have my sword.
My bow.
And my axe.
You carry the fate of us all, little one.
This task was appointed to you, and if you do not find a way, no one will.
Let us hope that our presence may go unnoticed. They are coming.
We must turn back! Shall not pass!
You will face evil, and you will defeat it.
Even the smallest person can change the course of the future.
I'm glad you're with me.
Oh, I loved every second of that trailer, but I also realize it's like a complete abomination to people who have spent so much time developing skill, and it's I shouldn't love it like that. I feel guilty. It's stolen. It's not right for it to be that easy. All right, let's talk about another aha moment that I had this week. It's funny because I have thought about and seen agents that browse the web, they click through for you, and they can buy things. And for some reason, it never really dawned on me just how huge, not a monopoly, but like a behemoth like Amazon is in the United States for delivering products, and how they might actually build the agent that goes and browses the third-party websites like Etsy and whatnot, finds products that you're looking for, buys them, ships them to your address using the whole Amazon system, but then keeps track of who. It doesn't matter to them who's delivering it. Maybe it's Amazon's delivery system, maybe it's UPS, maybe it's USPS, whatever. It could still all be found inside of your Amazon profile. It could look through your orders, and now all of a sudden they really are like the one-stop shop. It might go find some person who does like custom wood desks like this and then like explains what it is that you want and gets a price and then presents that price to you. And there's a whole bunch of like text messages and emails happening all from AI agents owned by Amazon, but it still feels like it's just the Amazon umbrella to you. And that is a very convenient one-stop service that they would be providing to us. That's going to be hard to compete with also. But then again, other AI agents, maybe Gemini or ChatGPT, can kind of do that same thing too. So it got me thinking that might work as long as they, maybe Apple too, any place where we have credit cards on file and they have AI agents that can go browse the web. But it seems to me like I'm just so used to shopping through Amazon that this is going to be a very powerful system, and it could probably be integrated into the way that you can already search for products. And yeah, like this is a pretty genius move for them. So of course, real world execution is everything, and Amazon is now using this feature. It is called Buy For Me. It browses third-party websites and it buys stuff that Amazon doesn't sell. But now Amazon can just be like, oh, I'll just go buy it on behalf of a user. The Louis Vuitton store is going to think it's some random email or a guest checkout. But if the AI can also just create an order and you can use it in your search history and they just bill your credit card like the way they normally do, that's wild. Like maybe Amazon can become Temu and everything else that's out there just overnight. And even if Amazon's behind the curve when it comes to AI agents, like if they can use someone else's model and build something that plugs into their system, that is going to be a $1 trillion opportunity. I mean, it just is. Like every other website that sells anything is now under the Amazon umbrella. All right, now let's talk about your teeth and mouth and gums and all of that and artificial intelligence. Definitely a segue, but anyhow, researchers, National University of Singapore have come up with a cool new way to make custom gum grafts using 3D bioprinting and AI. Okay, and just, I had to look this up. I'm not, a dentist, but a gum graft, what the dentist is doing is it's a procedure. The dentist takes tissue, usually from the roof of your mouth, and then it tries to reposition it. It attaches it to the area where your gums are because maybe your gums have like receded over time or you have tooth decay or whatever. But the goal there is to cover the exposed tooth root, because when you have all this chance to like have like root canals where cavities can get deep down there, like you don't want your gums to recede. And that can happen from aggressive brushing. But now, instead of taking tissue from a patient's mouth, which is like the old school method, this new approach uses a printer, a soft tissue printer, and then a special bio ink that helps cells grow and stay stable. Now, where AI comes in is that speeds things up by narrowing down the best printing settings. So they've trained a model to be like, how do you print this graft for this person perfectly for these teeth? I mean, it's very different from what we saw earlier with the baseball thing, but it's kind of like reminds me of that, like the Nerf technology where you can just take a few photos of the teeth and the mouth from different angles and it can figure out what the exact shape is and it can print this soft tissue so it just goes right onto your teeth. It's a much more precise, much more comfortable experience for patients, and it definitely shortens the surgery time. So I'm all for AI and gum grafts. And 3D bio. I'm sure we are going to see so much more 3D bioprinting and AI stuff coming soon. Eventually, we're going to be printing organs and skin grafts and all sorts of stuff, I think, especially when it crosses over with like stem cell research. Like we're going to have a lot of stuff to report on over the next 5 years, I think. Okay, so let's talk about AI research and where it can kind of go wrong. And especially in a world where sometimes you can be deceiving, not by lying or covering up something, but by flooding fake arguments into people's lives, right? Like I'm concerned, I consider it a form of suppression, honestly. When you take the truth, like something like smoking causes cancer and it leads to a lot of negative health incomes, and then you just fund thousands and thousands of scientists to go write pro-smoking arguments and do it in scientific ways and try to get them published and peer-reviewed, and you bury the truth, right? That's not censorship in the form of not letting the truth be there, but it's censorship in the form of like burying it in garbage and not letting people see the reality of what the facts are. So there is a controversial paper that debunks human-caused climate change, and it's stirring up a debate because of this. Supposedly, this was all written by Grok. And Grok is very uncensored and it is willing to write this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't let it, but we should be aware that people will use it also for certain agendas that might not be based in wanting the truth, in wanting science to prevail. So a bunch of climate skeptics have been hyping it on social media. They're calling it groundbreaking AI-led study, even though experts are also saying that it's riddled with misinformation. It uses sketchy sources and it wasn't transparently reviewed. But, of course, that doesn't stop the average person from reading it and thinking that it looks like good science. Researchers warn that AI used this way can give a false sense of credibility and neutrality, especially when AI's role is unclear. Critics also point out that one of the co-authors is known for ties to the fossil fuel industry, and the paper's rushed review raises more red flags on top of that. Bottom line, just because it's AI written, it doesn't mean it's scientific, although I do truly deep down believe that AI is going to help create a whole bunch of good science. So we just, it's chicken and egg. Like, some people are using the tool for actual legitimate science. We're getting much better answers. Some people are using it for agendas. And this one might be somewhere in between. It might be more on the agenda angle, but this is all stuff that we have to sort through. And dude, honestly, probably we're going to have another AI agents that's all about like debunking papers and finding out if the sources are credible. So it's just going to be a wild marketplace of AI agents for the future of science. Llama 4 Behemoth is 288 billion active parameters trained on God knows how much data, probably all this stuff Facebook owns and the entire web and all the synthetic data. 16 expert models involved, 2 trillion total parameters. And then there's variants of it, probably trained from the Behemoth model, including, very interestingly, Llama 4 Scout, which can run on a single GPU, meaning you can just run that thing locally. Their Maverick model, which is probably something a lot of people are going to probably build into their cloud systems. And then if you're big enough, you can, run a big server and run that for your own company, your app. Scoring 73.4 on the MMMU. Forgot what that stands for. Let's check ChatGPT. What does the MMMU stand for again? Massive multidiscipline, multi-model understanding and reasoning benchmark. Now we both know, and then we can forget it. Point is, it's a benchmark for college level subject knowledge. Over 11,000 collected multimodal questions from college exams, quizzes, textbooks, business, science, health, medicine, art, design, humanities, social sciences, etc. There it is, Llama 4 beating out Gemini 2.0 Flash. Oh, they didn't put 2.5? Compare it to 2.5. I mean, it won't do as well, but that's not open source. Can't even compare it to DeepSeek because it doesn't do multimodal, and GPT 4.0 doesn't keep up with it. Yeah, I mean, look, compared to 4.0 non-reasoning model, it beats it out on just every parameter here. Context window of 10 million tokens. Man, 5 million words it can handle in context, huh? So yeah, the Scout model, 1 GPU, ideal for tasks like document summarization, personalized experiences. And Scout and Maverick are now freely available for developers. So yeah, go ahead and start inserting those into your own business models, building your own fine-tuned models, see what kind of agents we end up with.
Today, we are dropping the first 2 open source Llama 4 models, and we've got 2 more on the way. The first model is Llama 4 Scout. It is extremely fast, natively multimodal. It has an industry-leading, nearly infinite 10 million token context length, and it is designed to run on a single GPU. It is 17 billion parameters by 16 experts.
By the way, as a reminder, the 16 experts thing means that it's not just one big model. And because it's open source and we know quite a bit about it, it's actually really fascinating to me. So out of the 16 experts, some of them are data type specializers. So there's like text-focused expert, an image-focused expert, so like an image generation tool, a video-focused expert. But then they also break it down by specialization. So there's a reasoning expert, a coding expert, a mathematics expert, and a conversational expert, like a human-like agent. Then there's languages. So there's like an expert system that was trained on multilingual expertise, and then an English and a non-English. So there's like 3 models, like multilingual, just English, and just non-English. And that's because some languages just don't have that much data that it's trained on. They're like low resource languages, so they like to separate that out so it doesn't conflict with what we know about like English and Chinese and the major languages. And then there's domain knowledge experts also. So there's scientific or technical or creative, if it's more like just chatting and writing and being imaginative versus like straight scientific facts. So those 16 expert models are all coming together in all 4 of these open source models. This this is a big news. It's going to be a very powerful open source system. It's definitely going to crush DeepSeek, at least for the moment. So yeah, it seems like in the open source world, Meta is back on top. At least for the moment. You know how fast this all changes every day. All right, next up, let's talk about how cultures are adapting to robots and AI agents. New study shows that people in Japan treat robots and AI agents more respectfully than people in Western societies. Okay, so a few interesting points from this study. One, people in general of all cultures tend to exploit cooperative robots more than they do cooperative humans. Because after all, they think to themselves like, I don't know, robots don't have emotions to hurt. They don't have feelings, so I'll just exploit them being nice. However, the degree of that exploitation definitely does change depending on culture. Studies showed that Americans and Europeans are more comfortable exploiting cooperative machines, while Japanese individuals feel pretty much equally guilty about mistreating robots as they do people. I mean, I know Japan is known for being more polite, more kind, more empathetic than a lot of other countries. But in this case, you might want to argue that the cultural differences might lead to a quicker acceptance and integration of autonomous vehicles in places like Tokyo compared to Western cities, because Japanese culture simply treats robots more equal right out the gate. Like the community, the society might be more likely to say, yeah, like they're like us, like give them the opportunity to drive around or to make money or to do things in the same way that humans do in our society. So imagine an automated delivery vehicle rushing to complete a grocery drop-off while you're in a hurry to meet friends for a long-awaited dinner. At a busy intersection, you both arrive at the same time. Do you slow down to give it space as it maneuvers around the corner, or do you expect it to stop and let you pass, noting that normal traffic etiquette suggests that it should go first? You might be like, dude, I don't want to be late. That thing's just a robot. Like, I'm just going to cut it off. Like, it's an AI-driven car. It'll stop for me. And if you want to know more about the psychology behind it, the researchers suggest that the difference stems from guilt. Western people just don't really feel that guilty when they exploit robots. The Japanese, on the other hand, they're like, feel guilt equally, robot or human. So much guilt. All right, well, guilt can definitely be harnessed by artificial intelligence for marketing. Like, remember back in the day when you had to actually show advertisements to people, and then you would ask them, like, how do you feel? Does it make you feel disgusted or tempted or guilty? Well, now we can use AI agents to simulate all of that, and marketers have basically developed this way to simulate what's going to happen to a product when it launches into the market, because it's already been tested on thousands of different types of people with different demographics, but they're all AI agents. They've all been told to take on personas, and sometimes as far as like naming them and giving them ages. Then they have backstories where they grew up in certain parts of the country or world. They speak certain languages. They think certain ways. And then you ask them things about products that you're building and going to market. Gosh, you know, I'm thinking about it too. If an ad is also generated like through a diffusion model, let's say it's just like a text ad that's on Facebook or something, you could have like a GAN system, a general adversarial network, where it's like you kind of have that like teacher and student relationship, or like the creator and the judger relationship. So you're like creating an ad, and then you have a judging ad, and then it throws it to the audience. It sees how, and then this one learns better how to generate. And it's kind of like the same way these systems became superhuman at games like Go and chess. Now they can become superhuman at generating like images that work well on Facebook advertisements. But in this case, the old way that you would test ads is with a small group of humans. And now it's outdated. There are AI systems like this one that talks about in this article called David, and it will quickly predict emotional reactions, attention levels, memory recall, and customer interactions at scale. And it has been informed by millions of human responses, measuring these factors instantly. It provides a detailed guidance on how you can improve an ad's effectiveness, which from a brand's point of view is great. It avoids costly marketing mistakes. It also allows for more targeting, emotionally engaging ads. The downside is we're going to be victims of much better honed in targeted ads. And I don't know if I want that control. I want the opposite. Like, I want a system that is like honing in my environment to make me smarter and more resilient and less susceptible to like fast food and junk and stuff that I don't need to buy that I might want to buy if it's marketed to me. So I like this system being built, and I don't like the reason and the money behind why it's being built. All right, let's talk about Thomas A. Vick's article posted on Medium. You've never existed. What would you say if somebody said, you know how you think yourself, you're like this really unique snowflake? Well, it turns out you're at war with the voices in your head. But it turns out there is no war and no voices, just you pretending not to be yourself. I mean, here's the crux of the argument. And I mean, I'm not suggesting like we walk around like thinking this way about everything, but for food for thought, and there is some potential things to learn about thinking of yourself as somebody who's just stuck in this, your sense of self, your sense of soul, your own being is actually just you being stuck in a weird game with your mind. You know, like we fight with our thoughts, at least I do. I know in my head, I think, oh, you should have done this, or like, here's your to-do list, or here's what will make you feel the feeling of achievement. When in reality, there's no separate you fighting for anything. Like I've personally thought, not related to the article, but I've personally thought many times, like sometimes it's weird that I'm like the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Like basically that's a metaphor for me in my own head to think like I set the task that I wanted to get done for the day. If I didn't get it done, I'm the one that in my own mind punishes myself for being a failure. And I was like, oh, wow, like I set the goal. I was like the judge, and then I was also the jury who like measured if I achieved it or not. And then I was also the executioner, or like the punishment, the person who was like, now you need to feel guilty. And then sometimes when you feel guilty, you like eat fast food and ice cream and stuff too. And like the whole thing is just, it's just crazy that it's all right here. It's all me. Like I could fix that whole system and I could have set the bar lower and then rewarded myself for another successful day and then celebrated, you know? But anyways, he's talking about how there's like this paradox that messes us up because we keep trying to control thoughts that we don't like, even though all of those thoughts, good or bad, are just the same waves in the same ocean of consciousness. And neuroscience is here to sort of back that up. It shows that our brains make decisions before we're even aware of them. It could be, you know, arguably shattering the sense of free will. And that means that the mind can't fix itself any more than you can bite your own teeth. Like, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it seems like meditation works, like stepping back from your thoughts, sort of noticing them, kind of intervening and being more aware of how stuff just like pops into your brain. But there's also the, you know, kind of argument that he has, which is that like trying to quiet your brain through more thinking is just putting flames on the fire. I mean, kind of arguing meditation's not really that useful. Not saying I totally agree, but maybe there is something to this. And that only real freedom can come from realizing that you are not your thoughts. It's not about stepping back from your thoughts. It's about realizing that you are not them. There's no need to control because there was never anything separating you from them in the first place. Just like how the ocean cannot escape its waves. All right, so checking out my last video here. It's doing okay, 3.9 thousand views. That's kind of a little bit lower than my average. I thought that Anthropic paper about how they dive into the black box, the unknown, would be fascinating, but maybe it doesn't make a great title or thumbnail. So you can see it's a bit below my average. I don't know. I think it's interesting stuff, and that's why I make the videos this way. And like the people who did like it, they had better retention than usual. So like it was my core audience. I think my core audience found it interesting. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, super chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. When I heard about Anthropic's paper, I was not surprised. Terrifying but beautiful. I can't wait for more to come from interpretation. That sounds like it'll make a great song lyric. Oh, we're talking about that 3D thing. Makes you wonder why Ubisoft can't make a good game anymore. LOL, they should have just used it to tell them their game is crap. Bro, like why you hating on them? Okay, so Gemini found 10 examples of poor decisions by Ubisoft. The launch of Assassin's Creed Unity, 2014. Ubisoft Quartz and NFTs in 2021. Aggressive microtransactions in single-player games. Visual downgrades from the E3 demos. What are you guys doing? Handling of workplace misconduct allegations peaking in 2020. Widespread allegations of sexual harassment, racism, toxic workplace culture. Oh my gosh. Oversaturation of key franchises. Yeah, plenty here to work with. Ooh. 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 Okay, so it's piecing together Ubisoft's apology for AC Unity, reading about Ubisoft shares plummeting. Oh my gosh, $10 for an XP boost in a $60 game feels overly pushy. Oh, now it's reading about the toxic workplace scandal. Okay, wow. So 7 minutes I've been waiting. We now have super thorough, well-researched, well-sourced reasons why Ubisoft makes crap games from this text. Like, this is hilarious. Okay, so here you go. A comment about why Ubisoft makes crap games turned into 10 facts about why they make crap games. Then deep research has been done on them. Then it has been formatted into a song. Here you go. And while you listen to it, here is AI imagining the evolution of beds from 1000 BC to 2100. Hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.
Ubisoft. We'll start flooding it down. Happy launches, sit on fun. Same old formula, chase the cash. Your reputations turn to ash from Paris streets to a